Female leadership in the spotlight as we approach the 2020 elections. In today's Bloomberg Equality, we spoke to Barnard College President Sian Beilock about the unprecedented number of female presidential candidates.
Parents are children's first teachers, and if you have a mom who says something like, "Oh, I'm not a math person," that sends a signal to a young girl. One, it says either you're a math person or you're not. It's not something that you learn through practice, which is how you learn math. And the other is that maybe women don't have to be math people. So even how parents talk about math, that it's something you get better with at practice, that I can see that you can learn, is so important for young girls' confidence.
What about in helping them learn to take risks? Because that's a big part of it as well, in discovering and learning. And girls at a young age are taught to do what's right and follow a prescribed path.
I think that's true at all ages. Young girls and women tend to want to be perfect before we take that risk, before we go for that promotion. We need all the evidence, and that's not necessarily true of the men next to us. And so learning to take risks, actually learning to fail, and using that failure to get up and try something else is so important.
But not having that failure count against you. I think that's why a lot of women or a lot of girls may not want to try something, because if you fail, then you feel like you can't get past that.
Yeah, and again, it's going back to this idea that failure isn't an indictment of you. Just because you fail doesn't mean you're bad at this or not intelligent. It means you didn't try the right way. And so when parents and when teachers, when college professors talk about how girls can succeed, it's about talking about how you learn rather than, oh, you're good at this, you're a leader, you're a math person. These are all things that we can learn. Even performing well under stress is something that we can learn to do.
Okay, so let's talk about one area of stress. The women running for president in 2020. Not just women, but men entirely as well. What are your thoughts on the unprecedented number of women who are running for president? What kind of candidate has the advantage in that environment?
Well, I think it's great to see so many women there, but of course progress doesn't mean parity. And what I look at when I see the candidates is I think about the fact that oftentimes women have been historically excluded from Congress, from running for president, even from the boardroom, from any sort of field. And we know that when you feel historically excluded, when you maybe don't see so many people like you, that you actually can have anxiety, you can worry, and we can see that in the brain.
How does a woman's performance change when she's one of several women, whether she's working with them or competing against them, versus being the token woman in a field of men?
I think it helps to have other people around you, but it doesn't mean the spotlight's not on you, and it doesn't mean that women aren't thinking, am I good enough to be here? They're not worrying about their ability to perform. And I think understanding that those worries are normal and that there are actually things we can do to quiet down those neural alarm signals is really important.
We've seen how the stereotypes get formed as well. And one of the other knocks against Hillary Rodham Clinton famously was when she was accused of lacking stamina, of being tough. How do women show that they're tough, they have stamina in their own way?
Yeah, I think it's about competing differently. And I think actually it comes back to redefining what it means, for example, to take risks or to be tough. So we think of risk taking in financial terms, or taking that jump when maybe you're not totally ready, or physical terms. But what if we defined risk taking as gaining consensus, as bringing people together, as being willing to hear those hard and different opinions? We know women are really good at that. And so I think some of it for us as consumers of what's happening is to challenge our own assumptions about what it means to truly be a leader.
How can women best perform under pressure, whether it's in politics, whether it's in STEM, whether it's in finance?
Or even sports.
Or even sports.
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes down to understanding that we do worry, that those worries can really zap our brain power to focus on what's most important. And so there are tools and techniques you can use. One simple one I use a lot is just reframing how I'm feeling. Sometimes you get that sweaty palms and beating heart and you think, oh gosh, I'm gonna fail. But there's research that shows that if you actually think differently, remembering that that beating heart is shunting blood to your brain so you can think, that you're excited and awake rather than failing, just changing your mindset in that way can help you perform better.